Hi. You can call me Dr. Nana. That's what my grandkids call me. I am a baby boomer. You all know what that is, right? Okay. But I'm not giving up my pumps. So I'm dressed this way specifically for this event to say that because I have 8 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild does not mean that I have to look like a grandma. Because I'm going to talk about life and life's journey and what difficulties life can give us and how dirty life can sometimes be. But that even with that dirt, we can come out doing some pretty wonderful things. I had some pretty humble beginnings in Youngstown, Ohio. How many people know where that's at? Yay! I hope there's some Cleveland Browns fans in the audience. I can say that. I know this is oh, there you go. All right. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, and these 2 pictures, one is from post-World War II. It was when the start of the industrial age here in the United States, and the other is kind of what Youngstown looks like now. But it's the steel industry, and Youngstown was one of the steel towns here in the United States that created a lot of the steel for a lot of what was going on here in the United States. But what a lot of people don't know about Youngstown is that it was also a city of immigrants, similar to what we say about here in Cincinnati. Additionally, Youngstown was one of the places that African Americans sought in the post-Jim Crow time. They were coming from the South, and they were going to Youngstown, and they were all going there for the same reason, and that was to work in the steel mills. In Youngstown, we had a river. It wasn't as big as the Ohio River, but we have a river. It's called the Mahoning River, and it was pretty dirty. And it was pretty dirty because it was lined by mills that looked like the one that's behind me. And those mills, though, provided a lot of jobs for a lot of people in Youngstown, Ohio, and the Mahoning Valley, as people were beginning to come from all over the world learning how to live together. Another thing that was going on at that time as I was growing up was that we were in the realms of the civil rights movement. And I say this because, we're 50 years out from the civil rights era. Some of you, looking at your faces, weren't even born. And there were lots of things that were occurring that were helping some people to feel good and some people to feel bad as we were trying to understand how to live our life in America. In 1965, Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act that said all of us should be able to live together in a world where they said we were going to be a melting pot. Well, we didn't quite get there. Maybe it's more like a salad bowl. And maybe that's okay because we could value each other's differences if we're a salad bowl. But it was challenging. And as a child growing up, it was really challenging for me to really understand what all of those differences were really about. Here's a picture of what was beginning to happen after all of those things were occurring. Because at the same time that occurred, we integrated the schools. Oh, what a time. And little smart colored kids, like me, were able to go to school with the white kids. I wasn't really sure what that meant. I really didn't know that meant that I was a little smarter than some of the others. And I had to kind of get some lessons along my life's journey to know what it was that I was supposed to do in order to live this life in this place called Youngstown, Ohio. I was blessed to have a family that was willing to share that with me. This is a picture of my mom and her parents and her siblings and my siblings, all who lived in the same house in the urban core of Youngstown, Ohio, not very far from those steel mills that I showed, not very far from the very dirty Mahoning River. And, you know, we talked a lot about the things that were happening because, again, it was at the height of the civil rights era, and it was post-Brown versus Board of Education, and there were lots of things that were going on, and we lived in an integrated neighborhood because I grew up in a house, and I didn't understand some of the things that people were saying to me, and even though people said, "Karen, you're a smart little colored girl," I wanted to understand what did that mean, and where could I go, and what would I be able to do? Was I supposed to work in the steel mill? It seemed like that was what I was supposed to do. I wasn't really sure what it really meant. So I learned that life is a journey. Now this picture probably looks a little dark. And it looks a little dark because every one of us on our journey called life have challenges and obstacles. We all do. We all do. And we all have to learn how to manage through those obstacles, right? Now, you probably are wondering, what do lemons and pigs have to do with all of this? Well, in my house, as I said, we used to talk a lot. And my mother was a positivist most of the time. And she would say, "You've got to make lemonade out of lemons." You all heard that before, right? And I get that. You know, you get a lemon, put some sugar in it, make some lemonade, it's pretty sweet, tastes good, okay. But my grandmother would talk about these pigs. Now, in the old days, even in the urban core, you could have pigs and goats and chickens and things like that. And we had some pigs, and they were dirty in the mud. It was horrible. You know, and again, we lived by these steel mills, and then we also had these little nasty pigs. And she would say things like, you know, you've got to try to make a silk purse out of the sow's ear. Now, I still today don't know what that's about. Okay? I still don't know what that's about, but that's what she said. Okay, so I know that it means that we're supposed to do something good with our life by taking those things that are not so good and turning them around and making something good out of it, okay? So I said, all right, that's true, but this is my life. My life is the steel mill with these coke plants that turn off at night, and this dirty stuff comes out of the air because every night the coke plant would turn off and all of the dirt would come down. And I'm surprised I don't have lung disease because of all the stuff we breathe, because it would eat the paint off the car. That's how bad it was. We had this dirt. But here's what I learned about this journey called life. That we are all fertile just as the dirt can become fertile. Yes, we have challenges, but we can get to the other side. We can overcome those barriers. We indeed can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. I believe that we can look like this park. These are two pictures that I took several years ago from Riverside Fellowship Park and Mill Creek Park in Youngstown, Ohio. Mill Creek Park is in the middle of the urban core of Youngstown, Ohio, right in the middle, and used to be right by the steel mills. It's very lovely. We can do that for ourselves because someone plowed the ground for us. Someone plowed the ground. So if we look at ourselves and plow ourselves and fertilize ourselves with the values of the things that we believe in, and plant the seeds of passion, those things that help us to feel good about ourselves, and open up our minds to the rain and the sun of creativity, then we can reimagine ourselves to be the best that we can be, just as has happened for a park like the Riverside Gardens. So I challenge each and every one of you, as you consider yourselves going through your challenges, those of you who are students who are saying, I just can't take it one more day. Those of us who are faculty who are saying, I just can't take it one more day. Those of us who are family members who are visiting who are saying, oh my God, I wish these people would move out of my home. We can look at what has been going on before us, look at those things that have helped us, fertilize ourselves with the values that help us to be who we are, plant the seeds of passion, hold on to those things that help us to be who we are, open up our minds to the sun and the rain of creativity so that we can grow and get the dirt and grow. Thank you.